Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am Dr. Claudia Albers, Planet X research and professional physicist. And today I'd like to bring to you another one of my articles. This one is entitled, What Causes the Biblical Plague of Darkness That Can Be Felt? Now, the Bible talks about a plague of darkness, a darkness which can be felt, and this appears in Exodus 10 verse 21, where it says, Then the Lord said to Moses, Stretch out your hand toward the sky so that darkness spreads over Egypt, darkness that can be felt. So Moses stretched out his hand toward the sky, and total darkness covered all Egypt for 3 days. And in the book of Revelation, we also find a mention of darkness coming upon the world, which is part of God's judgment on the world, which may be the same thing as what occurred in Egypt, which says in Revelation 16 verse 10, When the fifth angel poured out his bowl on the throne of the beast, and his kingdom became full of darkness, and they ignored their tongues because of the pain. This darkness caused pain and is thus along the lines of a darkness that can be felt. Now it is interesting that when darkness fell over northern Russia in July for 3 hours in the middle of the day, that the local people noticed that their chests felt strangely uncomfortable from breathing the air during the event. Now, as I showed in article 291 entitled The Sun Disappears, Day Turns into Night, this event could only have occurred due to Planet X dust entering the atmosphere and causing the local sun simulation system to fail. So people on the ground were most likely breathing this dust that was moving through the atmosphere. And this is what the skies look like, and you see at some point during the event the skies actually look red, and this is due to this dust actually becoming luminescent and emitting some light. And at other times it was just plain gray like it is at night nowadays. Now the dust, when it makes contact with earth matter, causes clouds to condense around it and also causes these clouds to emit light and thus to become luminescent. This is what has been causing the occurrence of colored fog all over the world. This fog may be pink, red, orange, yellow, or pinch. This dust also causes ocean water to turn into these same colors. This is usually called red tide and is usually explained as an algae bloom. However, the fact that the same colors are appearing in the sky and the fog around the world shows that this is not due to any algae, but due to greater and greater quantities of Planet X objects entering and affecting the Earth. And you may look at article 465 entitled Planet X Dust, the real cause for red tide or water turning to blood. You can see what the water looks like here. You can see what we have here is red fog. And here we have the pink ocean, so dust in the ocean that causes the water around it to emit this color of light. And here we see pink fog. So whatever happens in the water is what's happening in the air. And this is luminescent cloud close to the Earth's surface, emitting this pink color. So as I explained in article 465, Planet X matter is low in energy and absorbs energy as well as electrons from Earth matter. The loss of electrons from Earth matter would lead to natural chemical reaction ceasing, which would then affect living organisms. This is most likely why living organisms die when Planet X dust enters the ocean in large quantities. Light is given off by the water molecules due to the energy transfer mechanism. Loss of electrons will most likely also make oxygen in the water unavailable to living organisms. And it is likely that people breathing the dust or the fog which forms as a result of the dust in northern Russia during the 3 hours of darkness event were affected in a similar way. In other words, they were breathing oxygen that had lost electrons and was thus ionized and not being accepted in the usual way by their lungs. And this is what happens to, what is the difference between a living celestial object and one that is dead. That this is what a Planet X system stellar core has become. They turn into a core surrounded by a debris field, and the debris field is actually the outer layers of what was once a whole object. And these objects approach the Earth, and they are doing so because of the sun's weakness, and they are approaching the Earth more and more. And when these objects approach Earth, they absorb atmosphere from the Earth, and their debris enters the atmosphere. Small moon cores enter the atmosphere and give rise to tornadoes and water spouts. Slightly larger moon cores give rise to hurricanes. And for more details, you may look at Article 374 entitled The Connection Between Hurricanes, Water Spouts, and Comets. Stellar core debris is very low in energy, which causes it to not be responsive to gravitational fields. And you may look at Article 210 entitled Stellar core gravity, tidal, and G is not constant for more details. But the smallest particles, when making contact with Earth matter, will gain energy faster than larger pieces and thus become responsive to the Earth's gravitational field first, which is why it is the smallest dust particles that will enter the atmosphere first. Meteor and asteroid-sized pieces entering is therefore rare, but may also enter eventually. Now, this dust, when it first makes contact with the Earth's atmosphere, is likely to be so low in energy that it does not even allow water molecules to emit light. It is likely that they are so absorbent that any natural light in their vicinity is completely absorbed, so that all that can be seen when in a cloud of this dust is darkness. This dust would also be highly absorbent of electrons and possibly interfere with electrical circuitry, the functioning of a laser, and even the burning of a flame, since a flame is plasma. As the dust moves through the Earth's atmosphere, it gains energy and no longer absorbs all light, but higher up in the atmosphere it absorbs everything, thus stopping the artificial illumination in the upper atmosphere. However, it is possible a more concentrated cloud of this dust may reach the surface with most of the dust particles still in its super low energy state, thus causing the plague of darkness, which can be felt. This dust's effect on the human body may then produce discomfort to the point of pain. In conclusion, the most likely cause of the plague of darkness which can be felt seems to be Planet X dust, which seems to be entering the Earth in greater and greater quantities. Since there is much more to Planet X system stellar core's debris fields, this greater quantity of dust signals that more and more of these objects are reaching the Earth. Since they are most likely accompanied by smaller moon cores which enter the atmosphere and create tornadoes and water spouts, it should not be surprising that the incidence of these severe weather events is greatly increasing. These objects will also cause earthquakes and volcanic eruptions, which does explain why these events continue to increase in incidence and severity. And these are the references. This is Dr. Claudia Albers, Planet X physicist. Thank you for watching.